Hi, Courtney. Thank you
Hi.
so much for agreeing to be on my Stories of Inspiration. Why don't you tell us your story?
Sure. So my son was born in September, and I really didn't start feeling like pelvic pain until probably he was like 6 or 7 months old, honestly. And that's when I was starting to exercise really in earnest again. Cause I exercise a lot. Like I run and I do strength training. And I started back when he was like 4 months old. I just had this pain mostly on my left side. It felt like in my hip and in my glute almost. And I just felt unbalanced. It was painful when it was bad, it was painful to walk and really, really kind of move around at all.
Did you actually fall or have an incident where the pain started that you recall?
Not that I recall.
Just kind of happened to get like a
I
slow
think
onset?
I think it was a slow build. I pushed through it. I wanted to keep exercising, so I would, and then I kind of couldn't anymore.
Did you have any pain during your pregnancy? This was your first baby, right?
Yes. In the third trimester, I had some pelvic pain, and I would feel it like in my hips and glutes when I walked. And I would do strength training, and that felt comfortable, and swimming.
Was it one-sided?
It was worse on the left side, but I remember it was always worse on the left.
So that it probably was starting with that you were having muscle imbalances then.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
would imagine if that, because that's the same side you were having pain on then, correct?
Yeah. And so then when I was pregnant, it would hurt when I would walk the dog like a mile or a couple of miles. So I just kind of stopped doing that.
Did you have shooting pain down the leg, or was it just in the buttock and the hip? Not just, but
Mostly in the buttock and hip, and I did have some shooting pain.
some shooting pain. Did it go past your knee? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember it going past my knee.
Okay, so then what happened?
So then I confided in my mother-in-law, who's a physical therapist, and she directed me to your book. Well, she opened your book, start doing some of the pelvic balancing exercises. We did those together. I did them on my own, and she gave me your book, and I really found it so helpful.
The pregnancy book?
Yes.
This
So,
one here?
yes. Yeah. Pregnancy and postpartum. Mhm.
Okay. And so then how long did it take for you to start feeling better?
Honestly, probably like a couple of weeks, less time than I expected it to take, honestly. And it started feeling a little better pretty quickly, maybe a week or two. And then I would just avoid doing things that were painful.
Sure.
So that probably helped to the recovery as well. Yeah, and then I felt like in a couple of weeks I was able to kind of get back to running some and doing the training that I wanted to do.
I want other women to know that there is help out there, because I think sometimes women don't take care of themselves first. They take care of themselves last, and they just keep on going through the pain. Or the other thing people do is they take painkillers. They'll take, the Tylenol or the Advil or whatever, and they'll just keep on working through it. And that's just masking the pain. It's not really addressing why you're having pain, and that can actually lead to more problems. Is there any other words of advice you'd like to give women?
It made me think how much pregnancy changes your body, and that even it was 6, 7 months later. And when my mother-in-law, who's a physical therapist, when she suggested that it was pregnancy related or postpartum related, it was hard for me to believe at first, because I felt like I was through it, but I think probably not. It was related. 3-4 months I started getting back. I remember the first time I went for a run, I was like, oh, this doesn't this does not feel good.
Yeah.
So I just waited.
Yeah, it's good to start slowly, to do stretching and to do core strengthening and go for long walks, and maybe even doing some hopping in place and some impact things, so that what it feels like to go out.
Yeah.
The postpartum period is actually considered a year, and I'm on board with that, because your body just takes such a long time to get back to normal.
Well, I wouldn't have thought that until I had this experience with the pelvic pain that I think really was still related to pregnancy 6, 7 months later.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you again for sharing your story, and
Oh, I'm happy to.
thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.